considering a full pardon. Johnson, the first African-American world heavyweight boxing champion, died in 1946. He was convicted in 1913 for violating the Mann Act, designed to prevent prostitution and immorality, but often exploited to intimidate interracial couples. Advocates for Johnson have long pushed for a posthumous pardon, including U.S. officials like Senator John McCain and former Senator Harry Reid. In 2016, the two senators joined Representatives Peter King and Gregory Meeks, petitioned the Obama administration to grant a pardon to Johnson. The bipartisan lawmaker sent a letter to the White House asking for the pardon in honor of the 70th anniversary of Johnson's death. The letter said, while it is unfortunate that this unjust conviction was not corrected during the boxer's life, a posthumous pardon today represents the opportunity to reaffirm Jack Johnson's substantial contributions to our society and to right this historical wrong. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Southwest Airlines confirmed Friday it has sent $5,000 checks to passengers aboard a flight that made an emergency landing last week after an engine failed and killed one passenger. The airline confirmed news reports from passengers that they sent the checks along with a $1,000 travel voucher. The company said in a brief statement, "We can confirm the communication and gestures are authentic and heartfelt." The CFM56 jet engine on Southwest Flight 1380 blew apart over Pennsylvania on Tuesday, about 20 minutes after the Dallas-bound flight left New York's LaGuardia Airport with 149 people on board. The engine debris shattered a window on the Boeing 737 plane, killing a passenger, the first death in a U.S. airline accident since 2009. The plane made an emergency landing in Philadelphia. The FAA said late on Wednesday it was working to quickly finalize an airworthiness directive within the next 2 weeks that had been proposed in August 2017, which it said would apply to 220 engines. The directive was proposed after a similar engine failure in a Southwest plane in 2016. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Medical experts announced that an Ebola vaccine is at least 50 white people away from being developed. The CIA is now ready to install a female world leader, and a sex toy is discreetly shipped in a plain dildo-shaped box. Rising to the top of the video news summary game through an unstoppable combination of glad-handing and payoffs, this is the Onion Week in Review. Reflecting on his accomplishments and questioning his current abilities, the Lord God Almighty, our Heavenly Father and Blessed Savior, told reporters that he was no longer confident whether he would be able to create the world in only 7 days. He who commanded light to shine from the darkness admitted that the mere thought of producing the entirety of the universe from nothingness, a task he once completed with time to spare, had become surprisingly daunting, and added that creating a small, lifeless moon or asteroid now seemed like a more realistic goal. In this week's science news, psychology comes to a halt as weary researchers say the mind cannot possibly study itself.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Live Sunday edition. You want to take control of the airwaves, all you have to do is call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. And by take control, I mean we're going to have a conversation with you. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
The number is 855-450-3733. Put it in your phone, and that way you've got it for whatever you need it. Also, we have Skype and Discord. Our username on Skype is lrn.fm. And yeah, I'm not really sure how the Discord works. You go to discord.lrn.fm and figure it out from there. Good luck. All the best. So, Darryl, I guess I saw chalkings that said that this was so. It's Earth Day?
Yeah, apparently it is. I, for some reason, thought Earth Day was yesterday because that's when the little Earth Day festival thing was here in Keene.
I like the Earth.
I only noticed when I happened to have been running through downtown and saw, there's a bunch of people lined up on the bike path with things, and there's chalking that says something about Earth Day. Okay, so apparently it's today, and there's an article here from FEE.
That's the Foundation for Economic Education.
Yes, the title of the article is 18 Spectacularly Wrong Predictions Made Around the Time of the Very First Earth Day in 1970.
So I was born in 1971. I am 47 years old or something like that, and, well, I guess that's quite some time. But people who make predictions are often wrong, and this is one of the problems with the environmental movement today. Is that in order to
one could say this is the problem with making predictions.
It is also that. But the environmental movement today, in order to catch people's attention and make sure that they understand the gravity of the issue, tends to make predictions. There's a guy out there. I think he's from University of Arizona or Arizona State. Can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he said about 3 years ago that we don't have 10 years left, that global warming is going to set off a cascade of events, including, and it's going to be catastrophic. So he could still be right, but a cascade of events that include the melting, the thawing of the sequestered carbon up somewhere in the North Pole region or whatever. You're going to have this, the seas are basically going to become so warm that,
which is the complete opposite of what I remember learning when I was in middle school about global cooling that was going to wind up killing all of us because there was the hole in the ozone layer because of too much CFCs from hairspray.
I remember the CFCs, and mostly it was styrofoam. But it does go to show what you can do.
Well, the styrofoam keeps the hot side hot and the cold side cold.
Yeah, well, it doesn't work with the Earth. The production of styrofoam really is the issue. But I do like myself a, what was that, a McDouble?
I thought it was the Big Mac.
McClassic.
I don't know.
McClassic is what it was.
Whatever it was, I never ate the thing. So let's actually jump into the article here from FEE. It continues on by saying, in the May 2000 issue of Reason magazine, award-winning science correspondent Ronald Bailey wrote an excellent article titled Earth Day, Then and Now, to provide some historical perspective on the 30th anniversary of Earth Day. In that article, Bailey noted that around the time of the very first Earth Day in 1970 and in the years following, there was a torrent of apocalyptic predictions, and many of those predictions were featured in the Reason article. Well, it's now the 48th anniversary of Earth Day, and a good time to ask the question again that Bailey asked 18 years ago. How accurate were the predictions made around the time of the first Earth Day in 1970? The answer: the prophets of doom were not simply wrong, but spectacularly wrong, according to Bailey. Here are 18 examples of the spectacularly wrong predictions made around 1970 when the Green Holy Day began. Number 1 on the list, Harvard biologist George Wald estimated that, quote, civilization will end within 15 to 30 years unless immediate action is taken against problems facing mankind.
So at that point, they didn't have, were they not as specific? Because now everything you hear environmentally, you don't hear about smog, you don't hear about the ozone layer, you don't hear about the planets lining up in some kind of, gravitational catastrophe.
Oh, yeah, I remember the thing in the year 2000 when all of the planets are going to be aligned and everything's just going to implode because of the gravitational force of Jupiter and Saturn or something.
You don't hear about asteroids hitting too often. I mean, that happens.
Well, there's one that's supposed to hit us in 100,000 years that we need to worry about.
Well, so
Bruce Willis is not going to be alive.
Here's a hint, Mark. You and I aren't going to be alive in 100,000 years.
Speak for yourself. Alcor.org.
Yeah, your brain's going to be on ice. You're going to be dead.
That's your prediction.
Number 2 on the list, Barry Commoner, who is a Washington University biologist, in the Earth Day issue of the scholarly journal Environment, wrote, quote, we are in an environmental crisis which threatens the survival of this nation and of the world as a suitable place for human habitation.
So this was, this last guy's like 15 to 20 years. This guy's like, we're in a crisis. And, the problem is when you give a number that people can look back and say, well, that didn't happen. As a matter of fact, it doesn't appear to be close.
Right. It's like all of the raptures that have supposedly, been predicted in my lifetime. There's one predicted for tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, this is a religious rapture.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of parallels between this stuff and religion because...
Oh, my calculation was off by a thing. I forgot to carry a 1.
Well, that happens. People do have wrong calculations, but
True.
Besides that, essentially scientists are now the high priests of the new science religion. If you decide when it comes to environmentalism, you can't yourself know anything. You have to take the word of scientists. Even if you're a scientist, you're not just doing all the science on your own. You're taking your colleague's word and then working off of that. And not to say that there's anything wrong with science. I think science is great. But at some point, if you start with flawed premises, you're going to have flawed science.
And it's not just the scientists that were saying stuff. The New York Times editorial page, the day after the very first Earth Day, wrote, "Man must stop pollution and conserve his resources, not merely to enhance existence, but to save the race from intolerable deterioration and possible extinction." Well,
they don't give a time frame there.
True.
This is a true statement, I believe, that you must, the people must conserve resources in order to protect ourselves or whatever. But we've gotten better over time. None of the victories are predicted here. I think the ozone layer and chlorofluorocarbons are a great victory to point to.
Number 4 on the list here, Paul Ehrlich confidently declared in the April 1970 issue of Mademoiselle, population will inevitably and completely outstrip whatever small increases in food supply we make. The death rate will increase until at least 100 to 200 million people per year will be starving to death in the next 10 years.
Yeah, really, okay, so if somebody's starving on this planet, it's because their government, in all likelihood, is standing in the way of them getting food. They're taking the food, they're selling it to other people, they're rerouting it to soldiers who are they're then sending out to kill people or whatever, or it's just a flat-out genocide.
Right.
But, there certainly might be some malnutrition by some standard or another, but starvation is, famine only exists in this world when it comes to the state.
Right.
And its depredations.
And a lot of the malnutrition now in the United States is not from people that are underweight, it's from people that are overweight.
Yeah, they may be malnourished, but they're getting plenty of calories.
Right.
Yeah. So problems are different than they were decades ago.
Yes.
The number's 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Are we misinterpreting this data in some way? Free Talk Live.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. We walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy.
DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it,
and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dinovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic
and Cindy Lukasevic,
inviting you and your pets to Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. And by the way, if you're listening to us, any night of the week. I mean, Sunday is the night that I'm in the big boy chair here. But nonetheless, any night of the week, from 7p to 10p Eastern Time, or Darryl, what do we decide that was? 2300 to 200 Zulu?
It's midnight.
Yeah, midnight. So 0000 to 300 Zulu time. Yeah, you can call in and use either the telephone lines, the Discord, the LRN lines. If you happen to know the amp line, you can use that, and maybe I'll see it. I don't know. Don't count on me around here. But the number is 855-450-3733, and Skype is the username is lrn.fm. It's Mark with you. Did I say that already?
Well, regardless.
You said who you were.
Okay, I'm Mark.
You're Mark. You're Darryl. I'm pointing
Darryl.
at Darryl. And I'm Jonny Ray.
So, Darryl, we're going through this list of predictions made for Earth Day in 1970. And
yes.
I think they're being a little cruel when they say spectacularly wrong, but there have been some where they give a date. Because, I mean, if you predict
the last one that we went over, there was a prediction by Paul Ehrlich, who declared in the magazine Mademoiselle Quote, the death rate will increase until at least 100 to 200 million people per year will be starving to death in the next 10 years.
Well, that's in the next 10 years. So that's by 1980. I don't know what happened from 70 to 80. I couldn't really speak to that. But I can say right now we're doing fine as far as food production goes. But I could predict the destruction of the planet Earth. And I will be right.
It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, it's really important when it comes to
predictions. Within the next 5 billion years, there's a really good chance.
Well, environmentalism is a cover for legislative control of your life. That's the end game. And if they want to put the society on board with that, they have to make spectacular doomsday predictions.
Yeah, it's often the case. I would agree with you. It's not always. I mean, there are environmental predictions that are going to be true, and people should probably be advised of them. And I'm sure there's a list if we look for it. Environmental predictions that turned out to be true. Like this river is going to flood, and your house is going to be swept away if you don't move it, you dummy.
Right.
And that it happened, right? So let's go to Carl calling in from Atlantic City. Carl, you're on Free Talk Live.
Thanks for taking my call. I always listen to you. I sometimes call. But here's what I want to say. I saw them bags, the clear ones with recyclable spilled up along the streets and bikeways. I saw the black plastic bags with the trash in them, too. And yet, already, there's more recyclables thrown out and trash thrown out. Didn't they, after these 48 years, haven't these government schools taught everyone not to throw litter out, not to throw trash out? I mean, whose fault is it? I bet you'd never had a caller call and said it's me throwing it out.
Some trash blows out people's windows or the back of their truck or something, and they didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But when I go down, I've got a little bit of frontage on a major road here in New Hampshire.
What passes for a major road in New Hampshire?
Right, by our standards.
Yeah.
And, I go down I go and I clean up the trash probably monthly or so during the nicer months. And I find a lot of beer bottles. Now I'm going to blame that one on the government because open containers against the law, people would probably be less likely to throw it out if it wasn't against the law. That people, it doesn't really matter if you're drinking a beer. It matters if you're impaired. So, I'm against that. But there's all kinds of just trash.
Right. But see, having an empty beer can or bottle in the car is evidence that you were drinking. And so, therefore, toss it out the window.
Well, I mean, my blood alcohol level being at 0.06 is evidence that I was drinking, but it's not against the law. We have a law. The law says 0.08.
Right.
And anything below that is acceptable, and it shouldn't make a difference as to whether or not you have an empty beer can sitting on the floorboard of your car. So what?
It shouldn't make a difference, but it does.
Yeah.
And just go ahead, Carl.
Why don't they take it home and recycle it? I even think on my street there's a half a mile to the bus stop. I think they're drinking it on the bus. And why don't they take it home and dispose of it properly? Why they throw it in my front yard?
Yeah, indeed. It's annoying. I think that, when it comes to environmental issues, litter doesn't really, it's unsightly, but it doesn't really change the atmosphere or anything. Obviously, that's not true when you're talking about the Pacific garbage patch that's 2 times the size of Texas. I'm not referring to that. By the way, most of that is not from the major, sort of major Western countries. That's coming from crappy, up-and-coming countries who don't care about garbage because, they're more concerned with making ends meet and that sort of thing. So anyway.
Right. So I guess they'll want to tax us more for us to clean it up here, right, in the USA?
Yeah, that would be important, right? Thanks for the call. I'm not for it either, but that's exactly the way these things go. Those people made their money. Let them take care of it. Thanks for the call, Carl.
The litter problem in a general sense in the U.S. is a function of the socialism that the U.S. is under. And the tragedy of the commons, people don't own the roads, or either that, or we quote we all own it. so nobody cares about it, and people litter on it.
Right. Well, there was that nonprofit that I just saw the sign. They adopted the highway. They'll come clean it up.
Right.
I can't imagine how people think like this. So, I mean, when I'm on private property, I don't...
Oh, you're assuming people think.
Well, I'm just saying, when I'm on private property, I don't crumple up my the thing I just ate and throw it on the ground so that the janitor can come along and clean it up. We've got Jonny Ray, the Liberty janitor, in here right now. I mean, and that's rude. Obviously, it's going to sit longer if you throw it on public property.
Right.
But I wouldn't do that to somebody because I understand that their job has value. It's, it's a real jerk-hole thing to do.
But see, wouldn't the Keynesians love the idea of litter, or rather shouldn't they love the idea of litter because it's a make-work program? If nobody litters, then we don't have to pay anybody to go pick up the litter.
But that so far, no one's getting paid to do it. I mean, it's been decades now where people have been throwing crap out their windows. If they're Keynesians and they love the idea of creating, problems that the government needs to hire somebody to fix, then they would realize at some point the government's not going to fix this. Stop throwing things out your window. No, these are selfish jerks that are just throwing crap out of their windows. Not that it has anything to do with environmental issues, because I think that mostly litter is just ugly. I will tell you this, as a volunteer firefighter, you people that smoke and you throw your butts out the window, I've had to more than one time go and put out fires from cigarette butts that went out windows. In one case in New Hampshire, not a fire I was at, but in one case, a firefighter died. Please stop throwing your butts out of your window. I don't care if you smoke, but don't kill other people. Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
You have been lied to. Generation after generation, time after time after time.
If you follow the money, then you understand why America's in the condition it's in.
You created the Federal Reserve in 1913 through lies. You create 9/11. Through 9/11, then you're fighting a war on terror, and now all of a sudden you go into Iraq, which was another lie.
This book will open people's eyes. Pre-order now at killingunclesambook.com. killingunclesambook.com.
Join me, George Norrie, in Indian Wells, California, June 1st through the 4th for the Contact in the Desert UFO Conference, an epic weekend of exploration into ancient aliens, human origins, crop circles, and UFO sightings. More than 100 lectures, panels, workshops, and events with leading experts Giorgio Tsoukalos, David Wilcock, Linda Moulton Howe, Eric Von Daniken, Corey Good, Doc Wallach, and more. Get tickets at contactinthedesert.com. It's time to make contact. contactinthedesert.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
You can call in and talk about whatever you want. We're talking about Earth Day predictions here on Free Talk Live, and they're from 1970, and, well, some of them haven't been exactly right. But before we go on, I just want to make sure. You may have this problem, and I just want to address it. Do you have a closet full of plain and boring T-shirts? Do you wish that you had some shirts that were clever and witty, but you only have $6 and you refuse to buy from people that aren't libertarians? But have I got news for you. $6shirts.com has a gigantic selection of witty and clever T-shirts that will make you the most exciting person in your social group for as low as, actually it's low as $4 if you sign up for their email dispatch. I get that now, but $6, you can get shirts for $6 there. You can get a few for a little more than that, but not much. And the shirts are sold by someone like you, a listener of Free Talk Live. It's $6shirts.com. You use code FTL for 10% off. They accept Bitcoin. I'm wearing one right now. I proved it to Darryl earlier.
But it's up under that weird sweater thing.
Yeah, I'm wearing a sweater thing. Well, it's still chilly, especially when I leave the studio. So I want to be able to, not freeze on the way out.
Yeah, we're having spring and winter in the same day now.
It's not uncommon for this time of year in New Hampshire, but I like to wear a T-shirt generally. So that means that I can wear a long sleeve shirt several times. I can put it back up in the closet. It's fine. Effectively, it's the T-shirt that's sitting up in my armpits or whatever. If I drip something on it, obviously it's an issue. Anyway, it's $6shirts.com. Mine says, "Boy, it's hard being right all of the time." It's in black and yellow.
Let me.
Which is appropriate.
Carl called us a minute ago, and he was talking about. We got to talking about drinking and driving, and I heard on the radio that the NH House had killed a bill to make it legal to sleep it off in your car. Darryl, do you know anything about that?
I know that there was a bill, but I did not look to see what the latest action was on that bill.
Well, the news said that it had passed the Senate, but then the House had killed it.
Wow, that's surprising. Usually the Senate's the terrorist organization.
Yeah, the Senate recently killed the bill to prohibit DUI checkpoints in New Hampshire.
There you go. Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't understand why we have a bicameral House inside of a state. It doesn't make any sense.
That seems like the kind of law that you'd only get in New Hampshire, and it's a shame that it didn't.
No, there are like 20 states right now that do not allow DUI checkpoints.
No, I mean sleeping it off in your car.
I think there are several states that do allow that.
Really?
Well, let's do some research on it. John from Seattle. John, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, yeah, I just want to run by you a situation in Seattle where they have this big, grandiose recycling plant. And, you have to spend your own time recycling all this stuff. Well, China was buying it for $97 a ton. And then the price went down to $5 a ton. So now all the paper is piling up in a warehouse in Seattle, the Republic Recycling. That's who had the contract. And now they can't sell it, so they're trucking it over to eastern Washington, dumping it in a landfill. So there's your big government grandiose plan about, saving the earth. It's just,
well,
I mean,
I can say this.
Bureaucrats.
In defense, I can say this. If you take all the paper and separate it from all the other garbage, it composts much better. So you can what they'll do is often particularize. They'll make plastic into
400 people lost their jobs doing that. They have a big conveyor belt in this big recycling station with people standing there picking stuff off of it. And now they're all out of work because they didn't plan on the market,
Oh, yeah.
And they had all these people telling you, what you had to do with every piece of your garbage.
Oh, yeah.
And, this is, nobody made a law about it. It was just a regulation they decided they were going to make. And so I just thought I'd like to tell you about that.
Yeah, my transfer station where we dump our garbage, they just put all the recycling in one thing, and then I guess somebody sorts it out later, which has got to be a terrible job where you're dealing with broken glass and all that other stuff. It doesn't make much sense to me, frankly. If you're going to have people separate the recycling, thanks for the call, John. If you're going to have people separate the recycling, have them separate it. Just put recycling all in one big thing. Anyway, Darryl, I want to hear more of these Earth Day predictions from 1970.
Yeah, so number 5 on the list, and I will post the link on the Facebook and the Twitter where people can read it at their leisure if they want to. Number 5 on the list here from FEE, the Foundation for Economic Education. Paul Ehrlich, in a 1969 essay titled Eco-Catastrophe, says most of the people who are going to die in the greatest cataclysm in the history of mankind have already been born. By 1975, some experts feel that food shortages will have escalated the present level of world hunger and starvation into famines of unbelievable proportions. Other experts, more optimistic, think the ultimate food population collision will not occur until the decade of the 1980s.
So he was saying that most of the people that were going to die in this great cataclysm, which sounds like he's saying was going to be hunger-oriented.
Correct. Because he also,
a
year later, and that was point number 4, the year later, he said that between 100 to 200 million people per year would die of starvation during the 1970s.
Yeah, that's just wrong.
He also, number 6 on the list, Ehrlich stretched out his most alarmist scenario for the 1970 Earth Day issue of The Progressive, assuring readers that between 1980 and 1989, some 4 billion people, including 65 million Americans, would perish in the Great Die-Off.
4 billion people.
4 billion with a B, including 65 million Americans. Now,
this would be the greatest cataclysm to ever hit humankind.
I was born in 1978, which means that I'd have become a teenager right around the end of the 1980s. I don't remember 65 million Americans dying in my early years of life.
No. 4 billion people is half of the planet right now.
Yes.
By that standard, it would have been about 2/3 is just a guess.
Sounds about right.
Maybe a bit more than that, like 4/5 of the planet. I'm not entirely sure. This person, Ehrlich, was obviously a rabid nut job.
Dennis Hayes, the chief organizer for Earth Day in the spring 1970 issue of The Living Wilderness, declared, quote, "It is already too late to avoid mass starvation."
Yeah, there you go. Mass starvation. These people seem to be, at this point, they were thinking this was always going to be about population. So I remember when I was younger, people were always talking about we've got to figure out some way to handle the world's population. And nope. That's not, they still say it.
Right.
They still say, well, look, if we hit 15 billion or whatever the number is, whatever the number is that they say is the most that people can handle. Here in the United States, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. Here in the United States, I know as a pig farmer, we throw away 40% of our food. 40%. That means we can handle a much larger population than we do, and much of the food just isn't created because it isn't needed. We turn corn into gasoline, ethanol.
Right, and part of that's because it's subsidized to do so.
Sure, but that just shows how much food there is. If people were starving, they'd stop that. This is, this concern surrounding food that they had in the 70s was obviously nuts.
Continuing on, Peter Gunter, this is number 8 on the list. Peter Gunter, a North Texas State University professor, wrote in 1970, quote, demographers agree almost unanimously on the following grim timetable.
Demographers agree almost unanimously, this person says.
By 1975, widespread famines will begin in India. These will spread by 1990 to include all of India, Pakistan, China, and the Near East. Africa. By the year 2000, or conceivably sooner, South and Central America will exist under famine conditions. By the year 2000, 30 years from now, the entire world, with the exception of Western Europe, North America, and Australia, will be in famine.
Yeah, pretty clear that didn't happen. There were certainly, I remember people saying there's kids starving in India. Eat your food. Free Talk Live, 855-450, free.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Free Talk Live.
No, I just want to reiterate on what you said, and I feel you what you said about the junkie. I mean, I'm with you 100% because I had an ex-girlfriend that was like out there, and it took me a while to even find out that she was a cocaine addict. And I'm talking about I come home to all the electronics gone, and nobody broke in the house. A key was used. What happened was I was trying to be a gentleman, a good boyfriend. I got out of work. She said my car needed cleaning. It was dirty, and I ended up going in her trunk, cleaning out her trunk because that's where I kept the tie shine in. It's the exact same receipt from the pawn shop that the stuff that was missing, item for item.
Busted. Wow.
They had been to the pawn shop.
What happened when you confronted her?
She packed her stuff and said she's leaving because I don't trust her. So she gonna say she need to leave.
Right, it's your fault.
Yeah, it's my
You're
fault.
the bad guy.
I thought I found the receipt in the trunk. Right.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. You can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind, but we're talking about Earth Day predictions from 1970. I think it's hilarious, many of these. They just thought the world was going to disappear and everybody was going to starve to death. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
For years, libertarians of all stripes have wanted a directory of liberty-minded businesses, and we're helping to build one. Liberty.menu. Liberty.menu is a tool for your community. It's at its core is a directory for events, businesses, and digital content. Listings can be rated and reviewed. And there's a bit of a social networking aspect, too, where you can connect and share with others. Use Liberty.menu. It's exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu and use code FTL to get a special badge. It's Liberty.menu. Let's go to Jason calling in from Indiana. Jason, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, I'm Jason. I was just wondering about the Earth Day predictions. Like, why would people do something like that? It's weird.
Make a prediction?
Yeah, like the weird predictions.
Oh, people make predictions all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when people make predictions, and especially these outlandish ones of everybody's going to starve to death unless we do something, and I happen to have the solution, it's because they want to force a political agenda.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that Al Gore wound up talking about
when he did his movie
20 years ago or so.
The Inconvenient Truth or whatever.
It was because he had the brilliant idea. Well, we just wind up creating carbon credits. And, I happen to have a company that is in the business of selling carbon credits.
Yeah, there's an exchange for carbon credits. As a matter, if you want to get people to pay attention to whatever the work is that you feel you're doing, and you feel it's important and that it may be catastrophic if they don't pay attention, then it's going to be pretty easy. It's sort of human nature to exaggerate, and the more you exaggerate, the more people pay attention, and then exaggeration is then incentivized, and pretty soon you've said a bunch of dumb things are going to happen in the next 5 years, and they didn't happen.
Huh. Well, I heard another prediction that when Earth Day comes, that the Earth would go flat, due to the black hole theory.
Flat.
And, I just thought, what would your thoughts be on that?
On the Earth going flat?
Yeah.
That'd kill us all.
Exactly, but I was like, how come people are like that these days?
That they believe in the flat Earth?
Make up predictions.
I don't think that they actually believe in the flat Earth. I mean, there's probably some that believe in a flat Earth, but I think that most are just trolling people. I mean, how you can look at the moon or Mars or Venus and see that it's spherical and just decide that the Earth is flat. And
pizza is also circular and flat.
Yep, so that it is. Thanks for the call, Jason. Really appreciate it. The number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Number 9 on the list here. And again, the link has been posted on the Facebook and the Twitter for Free Talk Live. Number 9 on the list here of 18 spectacularly wrong predictions made around the time of the first Earth Day in 1970. In January of 1970, the magazine Life reported scientists have solid experimental and theoretical evidence to support the following predictions. In a decade, urban dwellers will have to wear gas masks to survive air pollution. By 1985, air pollution will have reduced the amount of sunlight reaching the Earth by 1/2.
Now, that would cause global cooling. And that's part of what they were talking about. I can see why somebody would say, okay, so smog is bad in Life and Time and all these magazines were probably done in New York City, maybe done in L.A., possibly done in Chicago. Any one of these places, specifically L.A., was pretty bad. Smog was really bad in L.A. And you can see why they would come to the conclusion, all right, smog wasn't as bad 5 years ago as it is now, and so therefore in 5 more years it's going to be twice as bad. In 10 more years it's going to be twice as bad as that, and going on and on and on. I've drawn those kind of parallels with the national debt. So when Donald Trump took over the office, the national debt was at $20 trillion. When Barack Obama took over the office, it was at $10 trillion. When George Bush took over the office, it was at $5 trillion. So if you extrapolate this out, 5, 10, 20, then whoever the next president is, presuming Donald Trump goes 8 years, the next president would then inherit a debt of $40 trillion. And I would say that the federal government can't handle too many more years operating under numbers like that. But what the heck do I know?
Ecologist Kenneth Watt told Time, at the present rate of nitrogen buildup, it's only a matter of time before light will be filtered out of the atmosphere and none of our land will be usable.
I didn't even know there was. They talked about nitrogen buildup?
Apparently so.
I'm going to have to look into that because that's pretty good. It's kind of like carbon buildup, and that's a real issue, but they were talking about nitrogen buildup at one point too. Did not know that. Let's go to the phones. Got Carmen calling in from Michigan. Carmen, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Periodically on the radio up here, I hear advertisement for Free Talk Radio.
Free Talk Live?
And they play an excerpt. Pardon?
Free Talk Live? Yep, that's us.
Yeah. And on this excerpt from the Free Talk Live show, they talk about there's a woman on the phone talking, and you're talking about Jesus Christ, and she's talking about how Jesus Christ appeared to people in the United States, tribes and so on, and they didn't know him. They didn't know him as Jesus Christ. They just described him as a white male with brown hair. And then you guys come in and start laughing and talking about how can a white guy be born to a bunch of Sephardic Jews?
Sephardic Jews, yep.
Yes, and then you say, one of you guys said, oh, yeah, with the Immaculate Conception, they can make them any color they want.
Maybe. That wasn't me,
right?
But I'm sure I said the Sephardic Jew thing. That sounds like me.
Yeah, and the other guy says they can, with the Immaculate Conception, they can make them whatever color he
It's
wants.
a miracle, right?
Now,
like they could do whatever they want, I suppose.
Right, but I want to straighten out the Immaculate Conception, as many people misunderstand. They think the Immaculate Conception has to do with Christ's birth. It did not. The Immaculate Conception was when Mary's mother, St. Anne, was impregnated with Mary, because Mary was going to be the mother of Christ.
Yeah, I haven't heard this.
This is true. This.
Well, I don't know what.
She had to.
True is really iffy here, but all right.
Okay, let me get to that. I'll get to that part of it. Mary had to be immaculate and free of original sin. Original sin, of course, being the eating of the apple.
Well, she was like 13. How could she really be responsible for her sins? I mean, God impregnated a 13-year-old.
Yeah, but the point is, the Immaculate Conception was not when Jesus was impregnated into her.
I'll take your word for it. I mean, it's nothing like what I've ever heard in my life, but I don't think particularly matters.
You heard it wrong, like most Catholics.
I'm not a Catholic, but yeah.
Immaculate, yeah. But I was screaming at the radio, and last night I had the chance to talk to my longtime friend and priest, and I had confirmed it with him. He says, that's absolutely right. He says, there's many people that believe it the way you guys put it on the radio.
Yeah,
okay? And even if you go to Wikipedia and look it up, it says Catholic doctrine says this, and Wikipedia is wrong, guaranteed wrong. And I'm hoping that you can have another Catholic priest, or a theologian or something, call in and confirm this, what I just said.
The number's 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. Thanks, Carmen.
I wonder if that number would work from the Vatican. Could the Pope call us?
Yeah, the Pope could call anywhere he wants. I mean, let's be serious.
No, I'm just saying, do toll-free numbers in the United States work from the Vatican?
Generally not, but the Pope can certainly use Skype. Our username is lrn.fm. The Pope could just send us a user request, as anyone could, and then I approve them during the show. If I see one pop up, I'll even get it while we're on the air. I mean, all I have to do is say approve, and we approve all of them, as evidenced by this spam bot that got in recently that I'm going to have to kill off out of there. But
let's snag one more of these absolutely wrong predictions. Number 11 on the list, Barry Commoner predicted that decaying organic pollutants would use up all of the oxygen in America's rivers, causing freshwater fish to suffocate.
I bet that's happened somewhere.
But not in all of the rivers.
Not by any stretch. I wouldn't even say most of them. The number, 855-450-3733. Having a good time with these Earth Day predictions from 1970. 855-450-FREE. Any of your thoughts are welcome here on this subject or anything else. Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
Message and data rates may apply.
Remembering when to change your fridge filter is a hassle. Remembering the right filter is almost impossible. So at Filters Fast, we have some good advice. Forget it. Instead, remember this. Text BEST 33 to 443-443 and check fridge filters off your to-do list forever. Get it all taken care of for a fraction of big box store prices with a Filters Fast brand filter. To see how much you can save, plus get free shipping, text BEST 33 to 443-443. With a huge range of brand name filters available, Filters Fast is America's #1 online filtration company. And you can get a Filters Fast brand filter for a fraction of the price, delivered to your door every time you need it. No need to remember. It's not a matter of if you need a fridge filter. Why not text to get it taken care of? To see how much you can save and get free shipping, text BEST 33 to 443-443. That's BEST 33 to 443-443.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, April 22nd, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.13 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,336 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $35, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,904. Antiwar.com reports on Friday, Saudi Arabia carried out an airstrike against a vehicle traveling in the southwestern Taiz province of Yemen. The attack killed everyone inside the vehicle. Locals say 20 people total were slain, all civilians. Details are difficult to come by on exactly who these civilian victims were. 6 of the slain were identified, but the other 14 were all charred beyond recognition. Saudi coalition officials have not offered any defense for the attack. Taiz province is heavily contested between the Shiite Houthis and the pro-Saudi forces. This has made it a focus of heavy airstrikes as the Saudis try to end the months-long stalemate. This has meant a lot of incidents of stray attacks killing civilians. Saudi officials say that they take this report very seriously and promise that the Saudi coalition would investigate the killings. This is a very atypical reaction from the Saudis, who generally don't publicly acknowledge such incidents even happened. Thousands of civilians have been killed in Saudi airstrikes throughout the Yemen war. This has caused considerable international criticism. So far, however, the United Nations Nations has allowed the Saudis to police themselves on questions of war crimes. Any independent UN reports faulting the Saudis also tend to get quietly revised in the face of Saudi anger. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. UPI reports after being prompted by actor Sylvester Stallone, President Donald Trump on Saturday tweeted he is considering granting the late champion boxer Jack Johnson a full pardon. Trump tweeted, "Sylvester Stallone called me with the story of heavyweight boxing champion Jack Johnson. His trials and tribulations were great, his life complex and controversial. Others have looked at this over the years. Most thought it would be done, but yes, I am considering a full pardon." Johnson, the first African-American world heavyweight boxing champion, died in 1946. He was convicted in 1913 for violating the Mann Act, designed to prevent prostitution and immorality, but often exploited to intimidate interracial couples. Advocates for Johnson have long pushed for a posthumous pardon, including U.S. officials like Senator John McCain and former Senator Harry Reid. In 2016, the two senators joined Representatives Peter King and Gregory Meeks, petitioned the Obama administration to grant a pardon to Johnson. The bipartisan lawmakers sent a letter to the White House asking for the pardon in honor of the 70th anniversary of Johnson's death. The letter said, "While it is unfortunate that this unjust conviction was not corrected during the boxer's life, a posthumous pardon today represents the opportunity to reaffirm Jack Johnson's substantial contributions to our society and to right this historical wrong." For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Southwest Airlines confirmed Friday it has sent $5,000 checks to passengers aboard a flight that made an emergency landing last week after an engine failed and killed one passenger. The airline confirmed news reports from passengers that they sent the checks along with a $1,000 travel voucher. The company said in a brief statement, "We can confirm the communication and gestures are authentic and heartfelt." The CFM56 jet engine on Southwest Flight 1380 blew apart over Pennsylvania on Tuesday, about 20 minutes after the Dallas-bound flight left New York's LaGuardia Airport with 149 people on board. The engine debris shattered a window on the Boeing 737 plane, killing a passenger, the first death in a U.S. airline accident since 2009. The plane made an emergency landing in Philadelphia. The FAA said late on Wednesday it was working to quickly finalize an airworthiness directive within the next 2 weeks that had been proposed in August 2017, which it said would apply to 220 engines. The directive was proposed after a similar engine failure in a Southwest plane in 2016. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Reflecting on the persistent troubles it caused his sibling during childhood, local doctor Daniel Barrett told reporters this week about his average-looking brother, Kevin, who first inspired him to be a cosmetic surgeon.
As a kid, I remembered thinking that there was nothing I could do for Kevin. Watching someone you really love and care about suffer from a weak jawline or unsymmetrical features, it had a major impact on me.
And in this week's local news, a community theater gives the part of Blanche Dubois to Kathy Hamilton. In other news, a moviegoer manages to sneak candy past a teenage usher earning $7 an hour. A new app matches you with others in the vicinity who wasted $2.99 on the same app. And a Roman centurion crawling out of a New York City manhole cover is in for one wacky adventure. Having graciously spread my knowledge to the uneducated masses, I now return to the stately, elegant ranks of News Announcer Society. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
As a matter of fact, we were talking at the very end of the last hour, Jonny Ray, that apparently Carmen called in, said the Immaculate Conception had to do with the conception and birth of Mary, not of Jesus, and that Wikipedia had it wrong. You looked it up on Wikipedia, and it said...
The Immaculate Conception, according to the teaching of the Catholic Church, is the conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary, free from original sin by virtue of the merits of her Son, Jesus Christ. The Catholic Church teaches that God acted upon Mary in the first moment of her conception, keeping her immaculate. The Immaculate Conception is commonly confused with the virgin birth of Jesus. Jesus' birth is covered by the doctrine of incarnation, while the Immaculate Conception deals with the conception of Mary, not that of her Son.
And knowing is half the battle. Now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Now you know what Catholics believe.
G.I. Joe!
Because that's not the same thing as what Methodists and Presbyterians and,
I don't think they use that term Immaculate Conception. I mean...
now you know what Wikipedia says Catholics believe.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone spent much time talking in my Methodist church that I grew up in and taught Sunday school in briefly, that about the idea that Mary was free from sin or spent any time on that. I think that the adoration of Mary came from pagan tribes that had some feminine god that needed to be worshipped. So this mother-child thing really took off from that direction.
And my understanding, and I also not raised Catholic, but my understanding is that a lot of Catholics, instead of praying directly to God or praying to Jesus, will pray to Mary to ask her to ask Jesus to pray on their behalf or something.
As a layman, I'm not a Catholic either. I have heard that basically you can do that to all the saints. None of that makes any sense to me. With my Christian upbringing, it was that you pray to Jesus, who is the intercessor, to God, which apparently God's got real anger management issues or whatever. You needed to go through his son. This is not my God these days. I wouldn't be interested in a God that's, looking to kill his children or anything like that. Not interested. But anyway, speaking of religions, we were talking about Earth Day in 1970 when it was created, and reading a bunch of the predictions that surrounded it.
Yes.
And it was pretty clear that these people had some faith-based thinking themselves.
Yes, they did. And we covered the first 11 of 18 predictions. Again, the link for the article is on the Facebook and the Twitter for Free Talk Live.
And at any point, in the past, we've got archives at archives.freetalklive.com. They go back for more than a decade. So if you want to get to tonight's show, all you got to do is wait till about midnight tonight, somewhere Eastern time, thereabouts. Obviously, there are mishaps now and then. Usually when I'm on the air. So, could be as late as 8 o'clock tomorrow morning when we get back up. But
I generally get into the studio about 8:30.
God bless you.
So number 12 on the list, Paul Ehrlich, who we've mentioned several times thus far, chimed in predicting in 1970, quote, "Air pollution is certainly going to take hundreds of thousands of lives in the next few years alone." He sketched a scenario in which 200,000 Americans would die in 1973 during smog disasters in both New York and Los Angeles.
Yeah, that didn't happen. Now, it is quite possible that people died somewhat earlier, days or weeks, perhaps months.
Right. There may have been, some cases of lung cancer.
Yeah, but 200,000 or 300,000 is a lot of the American population in 1970. He was predicting somewhere in 5 years hence. Was that?
He said in 1973.
Okay, so
alone.
3 years hence.
So in 1 year.
Yeah.
In one particular year, he predicted 200,000 Americans from New York and Los Angeles.
This is the difficulty with this is that certainly 300,000 Americans died of lung cancer in New York and Los Angeles. I'm guessing that number is not too outrageous. And if you just go ahead and smoking is pollution, right? It's not smog.
Right.
But, I mean, if you just say that all the people that died of smoking died of smog, then you kind of win.
No,
it's pretty
that's
dumb.
stretching it.
Boy, oh boy, is it a stretch.
In the May 1970 issue of Audubon, he warned that DDT and other chlorinated hydrocarbons may have substantially reduced the life expectancy of people born since 1955. He warned that Americans born since 1946, quote, now have a life expectancy of only 49 years. And he predicted that if current patterns continue, this expectancy would reach 42 years by 1980, when it might level out.
Well,
there's a note here from Fee that says, according to the most recent CDC reports, life expectancy in the United States is 78.8 years.
And continues to rise. So if, this person's saying what they're saying,
right.
But I suppose you could, we've made DDT illegal. Suddenly everything goes, back to zero and everything's fine. This person exaggerated with the purpose of getting DDT outlawed, which, by the way, if you've got bug problems, DDT will really work.
And the banning of DDT has led to an increase in malaria in a lot of the world, because a lot of the U.S. treaties on trade and stuff like that require that the countries that are being traded with also not use substances that are banned in the U.S. So, all those places with mosquito problems are prohibited from using DDT, because then the U.S. won't do trade with them.
Yeah, and malaria kills lots of people in Africa.
Yes. Ecologist Kenneth Watt declared by the year 2000, if present trends continue, and there he put a caveat, if present trends continue, we will be using up crude oil at such a rate that there won't be any more crude oil. You'll drive up to the pump and say, fill her up, buddy, and he'll say, I'm sorry, there isn't any.
Yeah, they won't have anybody employed there when there isn't any. So this is the notion of peak oil. And they have been talking about peak oil since the 60s, there's no doubt. And it's pretty clear that they didn't have a handle on what peak oil was then. There's a lot less light sweet crude than there used to be. It used to be basically you had to have light sweet crude. But clearly we have more cars on the road in the United States than we did and just imagine the amount of cars on the road in the world compared to 1970, almost 50 years ago.
Harrison Brown, a scientist at the National Academy of Sciences, published a chart in Scientific America that looked at metal reserves and estimated that humanity would totally run out of copper shortly after the year 2000 and would run out of lead, zinc, tin, gold, and silver before the year 1990.
Yeah, that didn't happen. Not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, they're digging all that stuff out of the ground still.
Senator Gaylord Nelson wrote in, look.
There's a name that you do not hear nearly as much as you should, Gaylord. You just don't get that anymore. Nobody's going to name their kid Gaylord anymore.
Dr. S. Dillon Ripley, secretary of the Smithsonian Institute, believes that in 25 years, somewhere between 75 and 80% of all species living on the planet will be extinct.
Yeah, this prediction that's a chestnut there. They just keep on bringing that. Look, if people don't change your ways, you're going to kill 3 out of every 4 animals on the planet, and God's going to hate you. We're all going to die. I mean, like that they've been trotting that crap out every single year for a long time, and nobody's ever holding them to it. Not Gaylord, not Adolf, not any of the names that we don't use anymore.
Paul Ehrlich, with his final prediction on this list, predicted, quote,
Ebenezer. You never hear an Ebenezer.
Since more than 9/10 of the original tropical rainforest will be removed in most areas within the next 30 years or so, it is expected that half of the organisms in these areas will vanish with it.
Well, okay, so that prediction is difficult because those rainforests didn't disappear. And certainly if you change an environment dramatically, like removing all the trees, yes, many of those, the species that are in that area are going to diminish,
right.
There's no doubt.
But he predicted that 90% of the rainforest would be removed.
Didn't he? Wasn't there an if in there?
No. He predicted since more than 9/10 of the rainforest will be removed.
Well, that's a prediction. Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to give this guy a little bit of wiggle room on that one.
I'm not.
Free Talk Live.
He's an idiot.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
This is Darryl W. Perry, host of Free Talk Live. This November, I'll be running in the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, and I've accepted a spot on Team Innocence Project because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. Since 1989, 353 people in the United States have been exonerated by DNA testing, including 38 who pled guilty to crimes they did not commit, and 20 of whom served time on death row. The Innocence Project provided direct representation or critical assistance in 180 of these cases. With your help, the Innocence Project can help even more people who have been wrongly convicted. As part of Team Innocence Project, I'm raising awareness about wrongful convictions and raising funds to help free the innocent. I've already paid the race registration fees. However, to secure my spot on Team Innocence Project in the New York City Marathon, I need to raise $3,500 by November 1st. You can support the Innocence Project and help me secure my race entry by going to run.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's a live Sunday edition. As it is, well, every Sunday, every day. From 7p to 10p Eastern Time, every day we're live. Does that sound right to you, Darryl?
Yes. Although the way you started the sentence, it made it sound like every day was Sunday, and that's what got me confused.
I don't know what you're talking about. Quakers. I'm a Quaker. Quakers don't use or didn't use at one point. Now
they also make oats.
No, they don't.
Quakers oats?
No, that General Mills makes oats. Quakers. Quakers make up weird rules, or did at one point. One of those was because the days are named after things like, the sun, the moon, Thor, Odin,
Fry.
Yeah, Fry, excuse me.
I've seen it both Freya and Fry.
Yep. And because the days of the week are made up that
Saturn.
way. And the months of the year, so Julius Caesar,
Janus.
Augustus, they wouldn't use either the months or the months of the year or the days of the week.
So not even October, which is supposed to be the 8th month, but is the 10th month?
The 10th month. I think that should just not be used because it's dumb that we call the 10th month the 8th month. But no, they didn't. So what they would say would be, first day for Sunday, second day for Monday, third day for Tuesday. I would think it would take a while to get used to that. And then it was first month, second month, third month, that kind of thing.
I could see how somebody saying third day could be misheard as Thursday, and then they show up on the wrong day.
That certainly could happen, but Quakers tended to have a pretty tight-knit community, so you generally knew who was saying what. But yeah, there was a lot of cross-pollination through community, through business. Quakers did a lot of business. So,
right.
Anyway, let me tell you about a great pillow. It's MyPillow, the brand MyPillow. It is MyPillow, and I love it because I take it everywhere. You get a risk-free trial for 60 days. It's designed to fit the shape of your body and hold your neck in the proper position. If you have headaches, this could be the issue, and it's a pretty cheap fix compared to going to a doctor or something like that. I've been using it for years at this point, and it's the best pillow I've ever had. Not just because it'll hold my head and the neck in the right position, which it does, but also because I can wash it, which I just did recently.
Mine's really in the dryer right now.
Really nice to know that all those little dust mites aren't crawling around in your pillow. Do that with your feather pillow, people. It's MyPillow. Use coupon code, it's mypillow.com, code FTL, and you can get buy one, get one free. If you don't like it in the first 60 days, you get your money back. You can also just get one for half price. mypillow.com, code FTL.
So we've been going over a list of 18 spectacularly wrong predictions made around the time of the first Earth Day. We've covered 17. There's one more, and then Fee has a reality check, and we'll get into that in just a moment.
Let's go to Dana in Grand Rapids. Dana, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, guys. I called to give you some clarification. So the gentleman that called in about a half hour ago was absolutely correct. The Immaculate Conception was not Mary conceiving Jesus via the Holy Spirit. It was Mary being conceived. We're all born with original sin. It's wiped away when we're baptized. Mary had no original sin. It was her conception by her mother, Saint Anne. And so it's called the Immaculate Conception. She was the only one born without sin. And as far as, I think Mark mentioned, although you did offer a disclaimer that you weren't raised Catholic, I've heard this discussion before between you and Ian and just other guys that have filled in, that they think Catholics pray to statues, or you are correct in using the word intercessor. Now, if you remember the wedding of Cana, they came to the Blessed Virgin, and they were out of wine. And so the Blessed Virgin went to her son and said, they have no wine. And he was irritated that his mother was troubling him with this because he was supposed to be about his father's business. But the mother, the Blessed Virgin Mary, went to the servants and said, do whatever my son tells you. He said, bring jugs of water, and he changed them into wine. So, yes, Mary is an intercessor, and so are the saints in the Catholic Church. But remember, Catholics believe that nothing is done without God. So God works through these saints and through the Blessed Virgin. And it does not mean that Catholics don't pray directly to the Father, the Son, or the Holy Spirit, which is called God.
Seems like you'd be busy praying to a whole bunch of different people. But let me ask you this. So oftentimes people don't get their sainthood status until a couple hundred years after they're dead. Do can you pray to these proto-saints before they become saints, or do they have to be named by the Catholic Church in order to do this intercessory work that you're referring to?
In fact, that was a good question. Before a saint is a saint, they're a regular person, like it could be you, Mark. And then they become beatified, and then they're canonized. In order to get through those steps, you must have, and the Catholic Church had a wicked history in the Middle Ages, and so they're really gun-shy about these things. So it has to be an absolute, positive, undeniable proof that they had at least, it's either 1 or 3 miracles were proven that this person did this. Otherwise, they can't go through that process. So this is not a fly-by-night thing. This is a very serious thing in the Catholic Church. And there have been miracles that where this person, answered, cured someone, or brought someone's kid to Christ, or something like that. Now, can a Catholic go right to God? Again, I say yes. But none of this happens throughout God. It's God's power that does this. But they do use them as intercessors. Otherwise, they wouldn't be saints. And it's not just the Catholic faith that recognizes saints. All different faiths. They refer to saint this, saint that, saint this.
Sure, I know that the Orthodox Church has its own saints. Do they cross-recognize saints? So if the Orthodox Church has saints?
Because remember the history, guys, that everyone except for Judaism and some of the old ancient religions like Zoroastrianism and things like that, but the basic 2 most powerful monotheistic religions were Judaism and Christianity from Christ's time on, and so when Henry VIII broke off and created the Anglican Church, all their saints are still, the churches are named after those saints. All of these faiths came from the Catholic faith. And one other thing, Mark, you've mentioned this many, many times over the years when you guys get on religion.
1 minute.
You say that your God, your Father, is not a spiteful man, a hateful God. And you're right. And that's what Jesus Christ did. If you know, and I'm speaking from a historical standpoint, because if you get on a religious standpoint, people will debate you to death like abortion. But if you talk history, so Old Testament, if you committed a sin, God could smite you down right then and there. When Jesus Christ died on that cross and rose again, he gave us what we call grace. So say you committed adultery against your wife.
Let's hope not. I appreciate the lesson, Dana, but I can't push the break back. Thank you so much for the call. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
You have been lied to, generation after generation, time after time after time.
If you follow the money, then you understand why America's in the condition it's in.
You created the Federal Reserve in 1913 through lies. You create 9/11. Through 9/11, you're fighting a war on terror, and now all of a sudden you go into Iraq, which was another lie.
This book will open people's eyes. Pre-order now at KillingUncleSamBook.com. KillingUncleSamBook.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about whatever you want to talk about. We've been kind of all over the board this evening between Earth Day predictions, drinking and driving, the Immaculate Conception, and all that has wrought. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Jet calling in from the Northwest. Jet, you're on Free Talk Live.
The Northwest, yeah. Hey, I thought I'd call in and do a little Bible study with you, too. How about that?
Sure. Jet, did you hear the call last night where the gentleman called in? You did?
Yes. Yeah,
So recap, because I didn't hear it, and I'm guessing a lot of listeners didn't either.
So the call last night was a gentleman, and I cannot remember his name. And basically, I don't think he ever got into the premise of his call because he was one of these guys that rubs me the wrong way immediately when he says, well, look, Romans such and such and 2 Peter such and such, they say you've got to obey the government.
Peter 2.
1 Peter 2, thank you. 1 Peter 2.
Titus 3.
Yep. And 1 Peter 2, basically, if you add an ellipse or two in there, it says, you must obey the emperor, which sounds like certainly a fundamentally non-libertarian statement, but sounds like a fundamentally non-Christian statement, too. Because what if the emperor says nobody's allowed to worship Jesus Christ? Then what do you do?
Which is coming. So let's back up a little bit. He started out by saying, the Bible clearly says that you're to obey the law of the land. And when people ever say that to me, it's so funny. I say, really? Where's that? And they go, well, Romans 13. I go, okay, would you read that to me? And what's funny is that they can't find it. Nowhere will you find anything about obeying the law of the land in any translation.
Okay.
In any way. So I thought I'd give you a couple bullets for that canon.
You are probably the best person in the history of Free Talk Live at handling this particular issue, Chet, because you've been listening to the show since we were back in Florida in 2014.
Yeah. Yeah, it's see what's interesting with Romans 13, for example, which is the big one for everybody, is depending upon the translation, it kind of indicates being subject to authorities, to rulers and higher powers. Well, I don't often go to the King James version, but King James is the best one in this particular case. And it says, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. So I simply ask people, who is your higher power? Because, when Jesus addressed issues with Caesar, right? Mm-hmm. He knew who Caesar was. So why wouldn't Paul understand who Caesar was? Why would he kind of beat around the bush and say, hey, guys, your higher powers? My take on that is that he's writing this in code because he had never been to Rome. He was writing from Corinth and kind of explaining to the Roman church, how the church works and what Christianity is all about. That kind of. And so I always ask people, well, who is your higher power?
Right. So since Paul was writing as a Roman citizen to Roman citizens, one would presume that Paul would have said, obey Caesar, and I don't know, the other Romans, whatever the senators or whomever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, but when you break it down, here's the big trick there, because it begins by saying, let every soul. Now, people define soul different. Some say mind, will, and emotions. Other people are flesh and blood. But in any event, it says every. So I ask people, okay, draw me a circle and write every soul in there. And then now show me where the higher power goes. Because if it's every, that kind of excludes every other thing.
Right, which means that Caesar would also need to submit to the higher power, the higher power being God.
That's interesting. Now, what about this first?
Chuck Baldwin has a very similar, he's actually got a few different articles about this, to where the higher power is not some government agent. The higher power is the creator.
Yeah, these are questions better left to the the strong believers than to people like me. But I'd have a question about 1 Peter 2, where I don't have it sitting here in front of me, but I read it last night, and it said something to the effect of obey the emperors. What do you have to say with that particular verse?
Well, you can simply ask, what country are you living in? And if they say America, I say, well, do you have a master government or a servant government?
Oh, yeah.
And do we have emperors? Yes, we have governors, but it's not the same governor. See, the governors back then were mini Caesars. They were just an extension, just more tyrants. They're not like governors we think of today.
Right. It's more like the Governor General of Canada that does things at the bequest of the Queen.
Yeah, these are get your head lopped off governors is what these are.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things here that don't apply. Like when people refer, well, we got to give to Caesar what is Caesar's. I go, Caesar is dead. and I said, if to most Christians, they'll have this answer. I'll ask them, what is yours versus what is God's? They go, well, all things are God's.
Right. That render under Caesar thing is very interesting because I look at my bills and it has a bunch of different people's pictures on it. It's not Caesar. So it's got George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and Benjamin Franklin.
Well, the best way.
And
the best way to answer that, let me jump in. The best way to answer that is by using Ben Franklin because he was not actually a president.
No, neither was Hamilton on the 10.
Yeah. So you say the best way to help them understand that is give to Ben Franklin what is Ben Franklin's and God what is God's.
Yeah, but
now,
there's also another look.
But the bill's mine. It doesn't matter whose picture's on it.
Right, but there's also another way to look at it of, oh, okay, so if I don't use government money, then they don't have any claim to it?
Indeed.
That's right.
They'll lay claim to your labor. They'll lay claim
Right.
to trade.
Right. And
ask iTex, this company that makes money off of trade.
And I've got 1 Peter 2 pulled up in front of me, and part of it also says, live as free people, but do not use your freedom as a cover for evil. Show proper respect to everyone, love the family of believers, fear God, honor the emperor.
And what does honor mean?
Yes. Well,
good question.
It all depends which version you're going on. It says, honor.
Yeah, this is the NIV that I was able to pull up fairly quickly online.
Okay, well, it starts in 13, verse 13, which is kind of interesting that, Titus 3:1, 1 Peter 2:13, Romans 13, even though, these paragraphs and things were kind of just randomly assigned, the number 13 actually refers to biblical rebellion and lawlessness.
It's true. I mean, that's where the unlucky 13 came from. It's interesting that they ended up that way. You're right. None of those things were ascribed till later. But frankly, the Bible wasn't put together by Jesus or anything. It was put together 200 years afterwards too.
The Council of Nicene, I believe, was one of them. There have been several different councils. Yep. That wound up deciding which books belonged and which ones did not.
Indeed. And interestingly...
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Certain books were included, and mostly the exclusions were for reasons of, it really doesn't tell us anything more about God and Christ and who we are, how we are to relate to that whole thing in the lessons.
What about St. George and the Dragon? I mean, I always thought that sounded like a really cool book. I never read it, though. I didn't.
Yeah.
Was that a Harry Potter book?
Nope. Apocryphal book of the Catholic Bible.
No, way back.
Harry Potter and St. George's Dragon.
Jet, thanks for the call.
There's a couple things for you.
Appreciate the call. I got to let you go. The number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Been a lot of biblical stuff on Free Talk Live the last couple of days. You can call in about anything.
Well, the world does end tomorrow.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10 years shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at readytoeatbacon.com. readytoeatbacon.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. We've had lots of calls here, but we've been talking about Earth Day predictions from 1970, and sort of we're going to wrap that up here shortly, but we've got still got some calls on the line here, and want to get through those, of course. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
The number is 855-450-3733. Here on Free Talk Live. Let me tell you about Zencash. I'm a big fan of Zencash because, Bitcoin, it was great tech when it came out in 2009, and blockchain tech is being adopted in industries all around the world. All you have to do is make money, and the finance world now is just add blockchain to the name of your company. But when it comes to currency transactions, you don't always want your transactions on public display for everyone to see forever and ever. And that's what makes Zencash so great. It's a privacy option for transactions and messaging using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash also has more than 8,000 secure nodes, making it one of the most secure networks of any cryptocurrency. And Zencash was made by voluntarists with the ideas of voluntary interaction being embedded in their white paper and presumably in their technology generally. Zencash has better tech than their competition. Learn more at zencash.com. It's zencash.com. Let's go to, looks like Gary. I'm not sure where he's calling in on Skype. Gary, you're on Free Talk Live.
Can you hear me?
Gotcha.
No, I'm in China.
Oh.
I came back over here in November. I was here.
Where's here?
And I called China. You guys. Well, I'm in the middle of the country. I called in about 2013 to you guys when I was in Hong Kong, and then I came home. And then I came back in November thinking maybe business would be better or booming and it might be easier. But actually, things have gotten worse. And you guys were talking about censorship on the internet the other day and surveillance and all that. And I saw something on television here about in one province they have this system where they can get your personal information and put it on a computer, and they use a camera to home in on the person, and within 5 minutes they've got all the data, his passport number or the ID number, and they can track a person like within 10 minutes and, and then nail them. Yeah, they're going to spread this out through the whole country. It was an experimental thing in Hangzhou. That's what's going on. It's kind of scary because, they use the excuse that if somebody grabbed a child for whatever reason, for child labor or something else even worse, that they could get them back to their parents quickly, and people buy into that. But
sure,
they don't think about maybe a tracking bracelet. And I just worry about this spreading to the U.S. because they've already kicked out Google, or Google pulled out, and they got these anti-Google chips in the phones here. You can't get Google Play because Google refused to go along with their censorship. And you can't get Facebook or you can't get YouTube without a VPN. I can't even talk to you without a VPN. So I just thought, I didn't know if people in the States were aware of that.
I know we talked a couple of weeks ago about something, and I forget what province it was there in China, where they're using facial recognition to wind up naming and shaming jaywalkers, and they're about to wind up implementing some kind of system to where they text message the person a ticket for jaywalking because they've got these facial recognition cameras on all of the intersections.
Well, it's a two-way street. They ought to name and shame the people who run through pedestrian crossings and nearly hit people because they don't know anything about traffic rules, or they're not enforced. So that, that's the other thing. But in the South, it's more civilized. But in the North and in the middle of the thing, it's really like very old-fashioned and very backward. And anyway, I'm due home in June early. I was supposed to stay till January, but I decided to pull out early.
Well, I think that as far as censorship goes here in the U.S., they're going to have to be a little more insidious than what's going on in China. But, I mean, obviously, governments have never found a system that they do not want to control.
Right.
And, they just had Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook on trial, basically, in D.C. in front of the, all the politicians out there. And, grilling him about, hey, that platform you've got where everybody knew that they were giving up their information in order to get free services and be able to look at the pictures of grandkids and other people's food. How come you're using all their information like you said you were going to and stuff? And it was really kind of ridiculous. But Gary, I'm interested in more comparisons as you move back and forth between the countries. I think Americans don't think of they think of China as being, the America being free and China being not free. And I'm interested in the ways that A, China is not free, and B, the ways that they're more free, because I suspect that there are.
The way that they're more free is that people just walk around and do whatever they want, as long as they don't put anything in print or speak out against the central government.
I see.
I mean, they basically walk across the street wherever they want or say or do whatever they want, and they seem to get their mind off of the way things really are by being in the park and exercising and just playing music and stuff.
Living life, yeah.
Living life.
Just ignoring the government. Although, obviously you can't say anything about it, but it doesn't seem to affect people in their day-to-day lives that much.
No, it's like that old Steppenwolf song about sticking your head in the sand and pretending all is great.
Yeah.
Cool. But the other thing, just one more thing before I go away, because I got to get on with my day. It's daytime here. There's the kids here, the new kids being born are being born with smaller brains, and they can't think and function well because of all the air pollution, because of the heavy industry. And I'm in a heavy industry area, and they say that there's a study. It was on CNN. They're sort of growing up without being able to function properly in society because they don't have enough oxygen to their brains, and the air quality index is usually
terrible. Sounds like he dropped off there. Thanks for the call, Gary. Wow, that's scary.
Yeah.
Wow, that's horrifying. Let's go to real quick. Let's get David here on the line. David, you're on Free Talk Live. David, you're on Free Talk Live. It's noises. David.
Hey. Yeah, let me do it.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
Let me do.
Are you talking to us on a tin can?
Can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Yeah, it would be a tin can called Skype. Yeah, it's rather messy. Let me do an interesting weave for you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. What's on your mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me weave together the religion you're talking about with something from Darryl's news, that Southwest Airlines engine disintegration, and karma. And so years ago, Wells Fargo, they've been in the news. They've done people wrong in many different ways and are paying out literally billions of dollars for their bad behavior. And one of the things they did to me long before their recent turn of events is they were handing out money from my account to people that were not supposed to get it. And when I called their customer service to tell them to stop giving my money out to these people, they didn't do it. They kept giving it out. And so The only way I could figure to stop them, because what they should have done on the telephone is they should have advised me to close the account and reopen a new account. But I didn't know any better because I'm just a lay person.
You don't run banks.
Yeah, right. And the bank themselves that should have told me what to do, because they did tell me that's what I should have done later after the fact, after it all happened. But the person at the time, when I called for help, didn't suggest that. So the account stayed open and they continued to give out my money to different people like Bally's Fitness, which was notorious for stealing money from people with who gave them their account information. So the only thing I could figure to do to stop them was that I took all my money out of the account down to zero. Figured that would stop them. No, they kept giving out my money and then charging me $35 overdraft fee every time they gave them out.
So who were they giving your money to?
The main one was Bally Total Fitness, health club.
Okay.
I had canceled my account with Bally's, and then and Bally's assured me that they were closing my account and they wouldn't be taking any more money. But of course, they kept on taking money. They took money one month. I noticed it. Yeah, right, exactly. They had a reputation. So anyway, I couldn't get the bank to stop it. So what I did is I just went and withdrew all my money out of that account, figuring that if there wasn't any money in the account, they couldn't get any more money.
That you just had negative money as they kept charging you for what the Bally's was pulling out, and then charging you for the overdraft fee on top of that.
Yes.
And then because they gave you the bad advice, even though they didn't give you good advice, they were going to charge you the fee. And then once you've got that and you don't want to pay, then you're blacklisted and you can't open an account at a new bank.
Exactly. You're getting ahead of me. So what I did is I went to the ATM after they kept giving out money, and I withdrew the maximum $300 a day of money that I didn't have. And I figured at some point they would stop me from taking out any more money, and then they probably would stop giving it to other people. And I hear music.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to hold you over, but at this point you just don't have a bank account?
Yeah, for the last decade I haven't had one. I'll continue the story. I'll continue the story another night.
Free Talk Live.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, April 22nd, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.13 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,336 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $35, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,904. Antiwar.com reports on Friday, Saudi Arabia carried out an airstrike against a vehicle traveling in the southwestern Taiz province of Yemen. The attack killed everyone inside the vehicle. Locals say 20 people total were slain, all civilians. Details are difficult to come by on exactly who these civilian victims were. 6 of the slain were identified, but the other 14 were all charred beyond recognition. Saudi coalition officials have not offered any defense for the attack. Taiz province is heavily contested between the Shiite Houthis and the pro-Saudi forces. This has made it a focus of heavy airstrikes as the Saudis try to end the months-long stalemate. This has meant a lot of incidents of stray attacks killing civilians. Saudi officials say that they take this report very seriously and promise that the Saudi coalition would investigate the killings. This is a very atypical reaction from the Saudis, who generally don't publicly acknowledge such incidents even happened. Thousands of civilians have been killed in Saudi airstrikes throughout the Yemen war. This has caused considerable international criticism. So far, however, the United Nations has allowed the Saudis to police themselves on questions of war crimes. Any independent UN reports faulting the Saudis also tend to get quietly revised in the face of Saudi anger. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. UPI reports after being prompted by actor Sylvester Stallone, President Donald Trump on Saturday tweeted he is considering granting the late champion boxer Jack Johnson a full pardon. Trump tweeted, "Sylvester Stallone called me with the story of heavyweight boxing champion Jack Johnson. His trials and tribulations were great, his life complex and controversial. Others have looked at this over the years. Most thought it would be done, but yes, I am considering a full pardon." Johnson, the first African-American world heavyweight boxing champion, died in 1946. He was convicted in 1913 for violating the Mann Act, designed to prevent prostitution and immorality, but often exploited to intimidate interracial couples. Advocates for Johnson have long pushed for a posthumous pardon, including U.S. officials like Senator John McCain and former Senator Harry Reid. In 2016, the two senators joined Representatives Peter King and Gregory Meeks, petitioned the Obama administration to grant a pardon to Johnson. The bipartisan lawmaker sent a letter to the White House asking for the pardon in honor of the 70th anniversary of Johnson's death. The letter said, while it is unfortunate that this unjust conviction was not corrected during the boxer's life, a posthumous pardon today represents the opportunity to reaffirm Jack Johnson's substantial contributions to our society and to right this historical wrong. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Southwest Airlines confirmed Friday it has sent $5,000 checks to passengers aboard a flight that made an emergency landing last week after an engine failed and killed one passenger. The airline confirmed news reports from passengers that they sent the checks along with a $1,000 travel voucher. The company said in a brief statement, "We can confirm the communication and gestures are authentic and heartfelt." The CFM56 jet engine on Southwest Flight 1380 blew apart over Pennsylvania on Tuesday, about 20 minutes after the Dallas-bound flight left New York's LaGuardia Airport with 149 people on board. The engine debris shattered a window on the Boeing 737 plane, killing a passenger, the first death in a U.S. airline accident since 2009. The plane made an emergency landing in Philadelphia. The FAA said late on Wednesday it was working to quickly finalize an airworthiness directive within the next 2 weeks that had been proposed in August 2017, which it said would apply to 220 engines. The directive was proposed after a similar engine failure in a Southwest plane in 2016. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Shortly after Seattle area consulting firm Brink & Tiller received a resume from Corey Wilhelm, a college graduate with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Communications, Human Resources Director Robert Bradshaw immediately fast-tracked Wilhelm's application and spoke with The Onion about this exceptional candidate.
Well, the second I saw Corey's resume, I knew I had to send it straight up to our CEO. I mean, we're talking about an applicant who not only got into the University of Washington School of Communication, but also managed to graduate in 4 years with a Bachelor of Arts. This kid's only 22, but according to his resume, he already has experience in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. We're really going to have to move fast to get this guy.
Bradshaw went on to say that company heads could barely believe the candidate had 2 years of experience working at his college newspaper and had even taken a full 4 years of high school Spanish. Since receiving the application, Bradshaw claims the company has made numerous attempts to reach Wilhelm.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition. We're talking about Earth Day predictions from 1970 and, frankly, a whole bunch of other stuff that's come up along the way, because you can bring up whatever you want to bring up here on Free Talk Live. We take callers from everywhere. Guy just called in from China, and we talk whatever it is that they want to bring up. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
The number's 855-450-3733. Let's go right back to the phones. Larry calling in from New Jersey. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live.
Gentlemen, how are you tonight?
All's well.
I went to Catholic school when I was young, and we were taught to obey the secular laws always, except if the human law contradicted God's law. So that's the caveat there.
Okay.
So, for example, in Germany, under the Nazis, the entire Holocaust was done in strict conformance with German law. Every death warrant was signed by a judge.
Jeez.
So
you must have kept them busy.
Yes. And so that's what we were taught. I just thought I'd chime in on that.
Yeah, it's at that point you've got millions of people dying under the color of law, and well, there you go. Thanks for the call, Larry. Appreciate it.
I want to say one other thing.
Sure.
Mark had said about keeping government out of determining what money is. I had stumbled across a fact that silver was used as money as early as 3500 BC, 3,000 years before the Lydians actually coined money.
Interesting. I thought that metal was being used in Sumeria. I mean, that's
right. That's where I read that there are clay tablets that show people borrowing money at interest rates of 20 or 30%.
Rates were very high. Because the intention was to enslave people anyway. I sat with a very intelligent friend of mine for lunch not too long ago, and his statement was, and pardon me if I'm just paraphrasing here, but something to the effect of, if Socrates was sitting with us and we tried to explain to him the difference between debt and slavery, he'd have a hell of a time figuring it out.
Right.
Well, like these days, everybody's carrying debt. Basically, debt is just part of life, and it doesn't particularly enslave you. I mean, you've got to pay more, but sometimes you can use debt to parlay into greater profits and these sorts of things. Generally, it's a bad idea.
A lot of times people will quote Shakespeare where he said something along the lines of the borrower is slave to the lender.
Sure.
So there is, kind of something akin to servitude, because you do have to work a certain amount of time to be able to pay off the person that you have borrowed from. But I want to go back to what you began the call with about you were taught in Catholic school that, you have to obey man's law unless it conflicts with God's law. And I've got a question for you specifically about something that was written by Martin Luther King in his letter from the Birmingham jail, where he said one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws.
Right. So it would be, I guess.
So do you agree with that or no?
Well, usually an unjust law I would agree with that, yes. Usually an unjust law would conflict with God's law because our freedoms come from God.
Right. So let me give an example. The Fugitive Slave Acts, from the 1850s that said that you have a legal responsibility to find a runaway slave and return him to his master. Would that be a just or an unjust law?
That would be an unjust law.
I wish Jesus had been really clear about that. Like when he was doing the Beatitudes, like the meek shall inherit the earth. And oh, by the way, everybody who owns a slave is evil. Like that would have been really awesome. And wash your hands after you go poop. Like those would have been some really cool things that I wish Jesus would have said.
Right.
Yep. Thanks for the call, Larry. I really appreciate it. The number is 855-450-3733. If I were to rewrite the Bible, boy, I could boil it down in just a few pages. You really don't need all that begat stuff.
Are you going to wind up doing your own version of what Thomas Jefferson did?
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson just basically cut out the miracles, but
from the four Gospels and then published basically that.
Yeah.
So he cut out the Old Testament, cut out most of the New Testament, and just published his version of the Gospels.
No, it would be things like anybody who owns anybody else is evil, and
so you would completely rewrite it and
something
not really take anything from the existing
this whole
one.
Set of first, foremost, you should not use aggression against your neighbor, and then kind of lay that out and brush your teeth twice a day. And wash your hands after you go to the bathroom. Like a whole bunch of sort of ways to have a really great life. The things you learned in kindergarten are pretty good. I'll probably go there and, boil some of those things down.
Yeah, I think they've already written that book. It's called Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten.
Yeah, stuff like that. But, this would be Mark's new Bible. King Mark I and his new Bible.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there you go. There are no calls. Darryl, please go back to the Earth Day predictions from 1970. I believe we have one left.
We have one more from 1970 and then a modern prediction and then the reality check. So the last prediction here from Kenneth Watt, he made the list several times. He warned about a pending ice age in a speech saying, quote, "The world has been chilling sharply for about 20 years. If present trends continue, the world will be about 4 degrees colder for the global mean temperature in 1990, but 11 degrees colder in the year 2000. This is about twice what is needed to put us into another ice age."
Yeah, that's this is the sort of thing that you don't find on YouTube videos that talk about global warming.
Yeah.
I was just watching that the science guy. I can't remember what the new science
Bill
guy.
Nye, the science guy?
Nope, not that guy.
Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Nope, not that one either. This is the white guy with the glasses. He's on PBS, sort of sponsors his YouTube videos. He's not as big of a deal as like Neil deGrasse Tyson, but he's prolific and a smart guy, there's no doubt. But they don't spend any time talking about this stuff. This guy doesn't make a lot of predictions, by the way. He just says things like, we're warming. And I tend to believe that that's the case if they're taking measurements and stuff. And let's not forget ClimateGate when we found out that they were adjusting those temperatures.
Right.
What's a person like me, a layman like me, supposed to believe? I mean, in 1970, you believed Mr. Watt here.
What?
And you came to the conclusion that by the year 2000, Florida was going to be covered in a glacier, right?
Yeah. The Earth Day website now, apparently, according to this article from FEE, now says global sea levels are rising at an alarmingly fast rate, 6.7 inches in the last century alone, and going higher. Surface temperatures.
6.7 sounds like an exaggeration. A friend of mine has a dock that's been there for more than 40 years, and it's up against the dock, but not up 7 inches.
Surface temperatures are setting new heat records about each year. The ice sheets continue to decline. Glaciers are in retreat globally, and our oceans are more acidic than ever. We could go on, which is a whole other problem. And then there's 2 more paragraphs where they predict more droughts, heat waves, which can have devastating effects on the poorest countries and communities. Hurricanes will intensify and occur more frequently. Sea levels could rise up to 4 feet by the year 2100, and that's conservative estimates among some experts.
Yeah, a lot of the droughts that are happening in different places are because of bad farming techniques, too.
And
what they're doing is that the vegans are out there saying don't eat animals, but you really need animals to trod the field in order to, replenish it and to keep topsoil.
And then diverting water away from the Colorado River into the middle of deserts in California. And then you say, look at how low Lake Mead is.
No.
Yeah, when you divert all the water out of Lake Mead, the lake is going to go down.
The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. I certainly don't want to misrepresent the eco folks, but at the same time, historically, some of this stuff's really messed up.
They misrepresent themselves.
Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition. That's why I'm in the big boy chair tonight. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
You can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. We've been talking all evening about, and with a bunch of others.
Off and on.
Off and on. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. People have been calling in about all kinds of different things, and they're certainly welcome to. But we've been talking about these Earth Day predictions that came from 1970 in this article from the Foundation for Economic Education. And now they're going to sort of sum it up after we've heard all the sort of laughable, it's like almost 20 of them, right?
18 plus a modern prediction from the Earth Day website today, talking about rising sea levels, and the sea levels could rise. And I like how they say could.
They could.
Because they could also fall,
yep.
Or just stay the exact same. They say sea levels could rise up to 4 feet by 2100, and that's a conservative estimate among some experts.
Yeah. So I guess Fee has some thoughts on this?
Yeah, the reality check, they call it. They say what you probably won't hear about from Earth Day supporters is the amazing decarbonization of the United States over the last decade or so as the falling CO2 emissions, and they point to a chart here in the thing that says that you can see in the chart, even as CO2 emissions from energy consumption have been rising throughout most of the rest of the world, energy-related carbon emissions in the U.S. have been falling since the peak in 2007 and were at their lowest levels last year, the lowest level in a quarter century, going back to 1992. And the environmentalist and the Earth Day movement really had very little to do with this amazing greening of America. Rather, it's mostly because of hydraulic fracturing, or what is referred to as fracking, and the increasing substitution of natural gas for coal as a fuel source for electric power. And then they point over to something else. They say, finally, think about this question posed by Ronald Bailey in the year 2000. What will Earth look like when Earth Day 60 rolls around in the year 2030? Bailey predicts a much cleaner, much richer future world with less hunger and malnutrition, less poverty and longer life expectancy, and with lower mineral and metal prices. But he makes one final prediction about Earth Day 2030. Quote, there will be a disproportionately influential group of doomsters predicting that the future and the present never look so bleak. In other words, the hype, hysteria, and spectacularly wrong apocalyptic predictions will continue, promoted by the virtue-signaling environmental grievance hustlers.
Do you think that they're of value, though? Like maybe these environmental grievance hustlers, as they are called in this article, get people thinking about this stuff and demanding less carbon-intensive energy?
So I'll say this not only about the environmental grievance hustlers, but also people like Bernie Sanders. They're good at identifying problems. They're not so good with coming up with the right solutions.
Well,
So just because somebody can point out a very valid problem doesn't mean that I'm going to listen to their solution.
Agreed, 100%, right? Like I'm sort of the opinion that you should probably pay attention to environmental scientists on some of these issues. However, when your solution is, government taxes in the form of carbon credits or whatever it might be, and it involves more government. If you think politicians are going to solve this problem, like if you can look at 9,000 years of failure from politicians, violence, death, and failure, and you can say to yourself with a straight face, oh yeah, we can get politicians to solve this problem, you're a fool. Like you're a full-on fool, and you don't please don't go vote. For God's sakes, don't vote.
And I generally don't pay attention to rooms full of people that have used their private jets to fly to a place to then lecture people about the use of unnecessary emissions.
It's frustrating, but I've got to say this. I ended up on a private jet with Roger Ver I think it was on the way to Anarchapulco.
Right, but you weren't going to a convention to warn people about using private jets to go to conventions.
No, I'm just talking about private jets here, and it beats the pants off of flying coach, which is all I ever do. All I'm willing to pay for is to fly coach. But I ended up on this private jet, and besides the gal who probably had too much plastic surgery, who was acting as the stewardess, you could just get up and get there's a little basket of treats, right? So, I think I'll have more plain Lay's potato chips. I tend to like those, plain chips generally. And I ate 2 of those, and then, like, when she wasn't looking, I grabbed 3 full bags of gummy bears, the snack size. But, it's really nice. And then, you're having a beverage. Champagne? Yep. I'm wearing my Taxes Are Theft Free Talk Live shirt, drinking champagne on a Gulfstream 4. Absolutely. Yes, I did get a picture. It's awesome. There's no doubt about it. I'm sorry.
There are no rap songs about Gulfstream 4s that I'm aware of.
They're kind of old. Like, you could see the leather had been... I'm not even sure the value of leather seats in conveyances, because it's always tight. It's not like a nice, soft leather couch. And the distressed leather couches out there that are always... I like the way they look. Maybe they're a little out of fashion. Don't come to me on fashion, people. But... in conveyances, I think fabric seats wear better, and for me, I don't have much use for it. I suppose leather withstands stains better. Like if you were to spill, Coke or something on a fabric seat versus on a leather seat, that's better. I don't know the answer.
Probably also a little bit for cooling. I think leather cools a little better than fabric. So if you're trying to sit in like just a nice cool seat. Because you don't want to be sitting there in a private plane. I'm all hot and sticky.
Yeah. Leather. You sweat into leather is worse than sweating into cloth.
Yeah, if you've got your top down in your convertible and the leather seats, you get on there, you're cooking thigh.
We're talking about private planes. You don't put the top down on a private plane.
Yeah, it's running the air conditioner anyway. I don't think it. I personally don't believe that's it, but I just think that leather wears worse than fabric. Maybe you know better than I do. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. When you're talking about private jets, I've had to tell my private jet story, and that's probably the only one I'll ever have in my whole life, but it was really, really awesome. So, where were we going with this one? We all done?
I used to drive a supercharged Buick Regal, and it had leather seats, but it wasn't very fast.
It was supercharged and it wasn't very fast?
It was faster than the LeSabre that I had driven before, but it was just okay. It was adequate.
I had a 500cc Eldorado convertible. This is before when they took the 500 horsepower 500cc Eldorado convertible. And this is back when they took horsepower right there at the drive shaft rather than at the wheel. And it was pretty fast for a car. I didn't get it for its speed. I got it for the way it looked, and it's really hard for people not to pay attention to you when you're pulling up next to them in a fire mist red convertible that's 19 and a half feet long. People had often talked about, wouldn't it be cool if we could just weld the doors shut and seal this thing up with water and just have a jacuzzi while you drove along? And I think that would be really, really awesome.
No.
Yeah, that'd been fun. But can you imagine that water if you hit something? Boom! It would just drive you forward. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
It sounds like I'm saying Smark with you. It's Mark with you. You can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. What's on my mind right now is Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is a great resource for figuring out what is what in the Bitcoin world. You just go to Bitcoin.com. If you're looking for news, they've got the best news in cryptocurrency world, in my opinion, or among the best news. Certainly, you can also mine Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com. You can find places to buy Bitcoin. They have some great wallets over there. So pretty much everything you need, you've got it right there, explained for you, simple fashion. And, if you know all about Bitcoin, there's news and important, forums and all that kind of stuff. Bitcoin.com. So, Jonny Ray.
So we've been talking about an anniversary of Earth Day from 1970, And there's another important anniversary that happened a couple of days ago, the Waco siege, which ended April 19th, 1993.
By ended, you mean everybody died?
Yeah, 25 years ago.
Well, not everybody. The FBI and the DA and the CIA and Janet Reno and Bill Clinton, they all survived.
Were there any injuries on the government side? I mean, I think that there's some exploding bullets, right?
I think there were a couple of federal agents that were shot during the initial thing, but I don't recall. And Johnny,
it's in the
do you
article.
recall? Okay.
I have an article from The Hill by James Bovard, libertarian columnist. 25 years ago today, FBI tanks smashed into the ramshackle home of the Branch Davidians outside Waco, Texas. After the FBI collapsed much of the building atop the residence, a fire erupted, and 76 corpses were dug out of the rubble. Unfortunately, the American political system and media have never faced the lessons from that tragic 1993 day. 51 days before the FBI final assault, scores of federal alcohol, tobacco, and firearms agents launched an attack on the Davidians' home, spurred by allegations that they had converted semi-automatic rifles to full automatic capacity. The ATF's lead investigator had previously rejected an offer to peacefully search the Davidians' home for firearms violations. 4 ATF agents.
That seems like a pretty terrible idea. I mean, if you're making allegations of modified firearms, you probably and somebody says, "Oh,
come on and
take
a
look." Yeah, you probably should take them up on it.
The ATF's lead investigator had previously rejected an offer to peacefully search the Davidians' home for firearms violations. 4 ATF agents and 6 Davidians were killed in the fracas on February 28th, 1993.
So that's when they first came in, when they were not invited.
Correct.
Yes.
At least one ATF agent told superiors that the ATF fired first, spurring an immediate end to the official shooting review. But the media trumpeted the ATF storyline that its agents had been ambushed, entitling the feds to be far more aggressive in the following weeks.
I'm not sure you can call it an ambush if it's somebody's house. It's not like they lured them in to their house. They offered to let them come in, and then these people pulled a raid, and then some people shot at each other, and some of them died. That's people protecting their home.
And I remember a video, and I don't remember if this was from the incident in February or the other incident in April, but I do remember seeing video of some federal agents trying to go through windows on the roof.
Yeah, I remember that.
What lessons can today's Americans draw from the FBI showdown on the Texas Plains a quarter century ago?
I want to defend this statement real quick that, defending your home. First off, if somebody comes in to your house, you don't necessarily know that it's the police or whatever, and you don't always have time to identify those things. So I think that the presumption of innocence should be with the homeowner in that circumstance, not with the law enforcement officer. The simple fact that the government gave you some shiny little badge doesn't mean you're some angel descended from heaven by any stretch of the imagination. Secondly, I spent 8.5 years in prison, and I can tell you that prisoners trained each other. They went through, they had home invasion training, and part of that training was to identify yourself as law enforcement. So now you have a situation where it's confusing for the homeowner. At least some people somewhere have been confused by this, right? And
Yes.
had their homes invaded because somebody yelled police. Well, I mean, maybe the police should spend less time invading people's homes and they'll have fewer things shot at them.
Number 1, purported good intentions absolve real deadly force. Janet Reno, the nation's first female attorney general, approved the FBI's assault on the Davidians. Previously, she had zealously prosecuted child abuse cases in Dade County, Florida, though many of her high-profile convictions were later overturned because of gross violations of due process.
Because it was a crazy story. This idea that in Dade County, Florida, somebody was running a satanic nursery school where people were being tortured in the basement. This is Dade County, Florida. We don't have basements. Okay? Like, this The idea that kids are being ritually sacrificed in the basement, probably the fact that there is no basement should be the first thing that you wonder about.
That's like Comet Ping Pong level. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Oh, the Comet Ping, that's the Pizzagate thing. Okay.
Reno approved the FBI assault after being told, quote, babies were being beaten. It is not known who told her about the false claims of child abuse. Reno's sterling reputation helped the government avoid any apparent culpability for the deaths of 27 children on April 19th, 1993.
Yeah, the children were killed. And, of course, with Waco, they always made it seem like the Davidians set themselves on fire. Like this was some kind of self-immolation a la Jim Jones.
Right.
After Reno publicly promised to take responsibility for the outcome at Waco, the subsequent Justice Department investigation was so shoddy that even the New York Times denounced the Waco whitewash. Lesson number 2. It is not an atrocity if the U.S. government does it.
That's pretty much the lesson.
Shortly before the Waco showdown, U.S. government officials signed an International Chemical Weapons Convention treaty pledging never to use nerve agents, mustard gas, and other compounds, including tear gas, against enemy soldiers. But the treaty contained a loophole permitting governments to gas their own people. On April 19th, 1993, the FBI pumped CS gas and methyl chloride, a potentially lethal flammable combination, into the Davidians' residence for 6 hours, disregarding explicit warnings that CS gas should not be used indoors. Representative Stephen Schiff, Republican, New Mexico, declared that the deaths of dozens of men, women, and children can be directly and indirectly attributable to the use of this gas in the way it was injected by the FBI. Chemistry professor George Uhlig testified to Congress in 1995 that the FBI gas attack probably, quote, suffocated the children early on and may have converted their poorly ventilated bunker into an area similar to one of the gas chambers used by the Nazis at Auschwitz.
Whoa.
I've been into a chamber pumped full of CS gas. And
you have?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. He was in the military, and that's one of the things they do in basic training.
I didn't know CS gas was something they used in the military. I'm just okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that we were talking about Jonny Ray has been in a chamber full of CS gas.
Oh, I was telling you a minute ago about how I was involved in a car accident, and I thought that was the closest to death I'd been. Now I'm reminded of the time that I was in this gas chamber at Paris Island, and that I thought I was going to die then, and I had a gas mask with me.
With you? You had to put it on, kind of thing. Or?
We had to expose ourselves to it, to the gas, but ultimately the purpose of the training was to give us confidence in our equipment. So yes, we did wear them.
Wow. I guess you should be confident in your equipment. It's terrifying. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. If you don't recognize these things, you don't learn from them. We shouldn't forget about Waco. What happened there was terrible, and it was the government's fault. The number is 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back
or shoulder. And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
Seniors thunder into a local high school parking lot like coalition forces entering Baghdad. A substitute teacher just needs to make it to her car before breaking down in tears. And a college freshman tells his roommate there's no need to hide his masturbation from him. And now a week in review that truly requires no introduction. The nation's students announced this week that they have reluctantly agreed to give the American education system yet another chance, saying they hope educators keep their promises of smaller class size, better school supplies, and intensified efforts to raise the country's international math ranking. The nation's students vowed to give the education system one more shot, despite claiming to have been burned many, many times in the past. In other news, a man overcomes alcoholism without the help of Jesus, and an outcast student and a lonely teacher have begun a somewhat endearing sexual relationship. And that was a free lesson in top-shelf journalism. For more news, videos, and reminders of your insignificance, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, final segment of the live Sunday show. Might be able to squeeze you in if you call in. We're talking about reflections on the catastrophe in Waco. How many years ago was it, Jonny Ray?
25 years ago.
25 years ago, and we'll go on that with here in just a moment. But Darryl is running the New York Marathon for the Innocence Project, and you still have a bit of fundraising to do to get to your goal of $3,500, although people's donations will be matched.
Correct. So I have secured some matching funds, and the $3,500 goal, that's the minimum goal set by the Innocence Project for me to take part in the New York City Marathon on Team Innocence Project. I know that I will reach the goal. I would just like to reach it sooner rather than later. And you can help by going to run.freetalklive.com. As mentioned, there are some matching funds left on the table to wind up being claimed. And I'm really about $900 away from the goal, which I think at this point is a lot further ahead than most of the charity runners are.
Are you talking to these people?
No, but
it sounds like wild conjecture on your part.
Well, I can look through. If you go to run.freetalklive.com, you can click on, there's a little tab that says team, and you can see the other members of the Innocence Project team, and they've not raised anywhere near as much money as I have raised. So I know I know that I'm further ahead than, the rest of the team members on Team Innocence Project, and I can speculate based on that I'm probably ahead of, most of the other charity runners as well.
I would like you to have this put to bed as soon as possible
So
that
would
you
I.
can concentrate on running the best races possible.
Yes.
Obviously the Innocence Project, you've done your vetting. You know this is a great organization people can trust. We've talked about the Innocence Project for many years here on Free Talk Live. Please, now's the time to donate.
Yes.
We've got the matching funds. Let's get it put to bed, and so that Darryl can continue his training without having to think about things like fundraising.
Right. So what sort of gimmicks can I come up with? And there's actually a jar sitting in the studio here that
Speaking
says,
of which, I have more change for the jar.
#Dimes for Darryl, #Change the Justice System.
Yep.
And so what I've asked some people to do is save all of the change, specifically dimes, but any loose change that you have, save that until July 20th, and then count all of that up and make a donation of whatever amount of change you've raised. Because everything helps.
Yep. And then you'll have, so people can go to
run.freetalklive.com.
Excellent. Jonny Ray?
Point number 3 or 4, I've lost count. Orwellian language will vaporize federal aggression. As Abrams tanks driven by FBI agents continually battered the Davidians' home, FBI loudspeakers endlessly broadcast, "This is not an assault." Prior to the fire, the tanks had collapsed 20% of the building atop its residence, and the FBI planned to totally demolish the home. Grenade launchers on the tanks and other armored vehicles fired almost 400 ferret rounds of CS gas through the thin wooden walls and windows of the building.
So is that like 10 canisters of CS gas per person?
400 divided by 80.
80 people, so more like 5.
Wait a minute. 80 corpses were pulled out. I don't know. I'm sure there were probably some survivors in addition to that.
Yeah, I think there were
maybe 120, 100, say.
Okay. The Wiki article says that there were a maximum 132 residents during the siege. We do know that some of them were able to get out before because there's video of that.
Attorney General Reno later insisted, "We didn't attack. We tried to exercise every restraint possible to avoid violence."
With the tanks and the 400 rounds of CS gas.
Lesson number 4, truth delayed is truth defused. The FBI speedily asserted that the Davidians ignited the fire that consumed their dwelling.
Well, who else could have possibly done it?
The following day, the President Bill Clinton derided suggestions that Attorney General Reno should resign because some religious fanatics murdered themselves. 6 years later, independent investigators found pyrotechnic ferret rounds the FBI fired at the scene prior to the flames erupting. Attorney General Reno lashed out at the FBI for destroying her credibility, but neither she nor FBI officials suffered any consequences from the collapse of the official narrative.
Right, you can't go after the Attorney General. You can't go after the FBI.
Don't trust Congress to expose federal misconduct. A few days after the conflagration, Reno was heartily praised at a Senate committee hearing, and the media had made her a national hero. There was little or no sympathy on Capitol Hill for those who died during the final FBI assault. Representative Jack Brooks, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, commented that the Davidians were horrible people, despicable people. Burning to death was too good for them.
God!
If Republicans had not captured control of Congress in 1994, there would have been no substantive hearings on Waco.
It's true. The parties are going to protect their own in these circumstances. I suppose that's the idea of the adversarial system that we have.
The final lesson to learn from Waco: media favorites can perform rhetorical magic tricks. When Attorney General Reno testified to the House Waco hearing on August 1st, 1995, she was challenged on FBI's use of 54-ton tanks to assail the Davidians. Reno replied that the tanks were not military weapons. I mean, it was like a good rent-a-car.
What? This is an Abrams tank.
I always rent an Abrams tank when I take a road trip.
When Representative Bill Zeliff challenged her, Reno hectored, I think it is important, Mr. Chairman, as you deal with this issue, not to make statements like that can cause the confusion. This is the high-toned D.C. version of the old saying, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? Media coverage of Reno's showdown with the congressional Republicans ignored her rent-a-tank absurdity, instead praising her toughness and demeanor. While the events at Waco alienated millions of Americans from the government, few, if any, lessons were learned in Washington. Waco should have taught the disastrous consequences of unleashing government agencies from the law and the Constitution. Unfortunately, 25 years later, controversies are raging as hot as ever about the power and prerogatives of federal law enforcement.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we're supposed to still honor the people don't generally trust Washington anymore. And I don't know if they did in the 1990s. I really could not say. I certainly did not. But, you still got to hail these people as heroes, right? I mean, the men on the ground that took the...
Thank them for their service.
Slings and arrows. Let's go to, looks like Sins in New Mexico. Sins, you're on Free Talk Live.
I just wanted to ask a question about your marathon. Who are the people you're paying the money to? What are they doing with the funds? What's the cause for the New York Marathon? What's the money?
I'm running as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project has been around since 1992, and they help people who have been wrongly convicted. They help them get exonerated, the vast majority through DNA evidence.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the call, Sens. Appreciate it. Those are great questions. Like, we always presume everybody knows what the Innocence Project is, and you can certainly search it online and find out many of the great things they've done.
Right.
The idea that somebody's in prison for something they didn't do is horrifying.
And when you go to run.freetalklive.com, it tells you about the Innocence Project right there on that page.
Let's go to Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Looks a lot of New Mexico calls. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, yes. You heard that Trump is going to put the welfare recipients to go to work.
Okay.
But, if they did that, if they did that in New Mexico, we're going to have people starving to death. We already have adults, like 5,000 homeless people. We're already starving. We have starving children. We have to feed them at the park.
Because they'll refuse to work?
Well, the thing is, these homeless people, they're dirty. They got 3 bags, a shopping cart. They're drunk. They haven't eaten in 3 days. They could hardly show up for the food stamp appointment. And they have missing paperwork. So what kind of work are they thinking about having them do?
I believe he's talking about some kind of sort of FDR government employment program where they would be, I don't know, picking up cigarette butts on the side of the road or something like that. It wouldn't be difficult stuff, but people would have to. The idea is they would have to work. I'm not saying I support it. I don't think anybody should have to be a government bureaucrat, even if you're starving.
I don't think anybody should be a government bureaucrat.
Well, I think that if you got into to do good, and that's what your hope is to do, and that's the only way that you can do that particular work, and I don't know what that work is, but like say social work, for instance. It's hard to do social work and really help people if you're not working for the government. There are some instances where you can, but it makes it difficult. Sarah, thank you for the call. The number's 85. Well, I'm giving the number. Check us out at freetalklive.com.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service.